Well, hello, welcome. It's the last trading day of October. I guess it's safe to call it October because we've had a lot of green closes for the weeks. But this week is proving quite stubborn with 3 days of losses in the market. But let's hope we can get a green close today and tomorrow and cap the whole month up. But let's get a check on the oil market now. See, oil prices rose today with Brent crude futures again about 35 cents, up 0.5% to about $72.90 a barrel. We see WTI not left out there, up over 0.5% there. Price at $68.93 a barrel. We also see from last week, definitely was a big drop we had last week. But that's started on Monday with another drop, but we've seen a recovery right there for the oil market. Let's get a check on what's happening with the FX market now. See the Naira, that dropped marginally about 0.04%, 1,666 Naira for the NFX window, and that's down 0.33%. And definitely still all about liquidity, what's happening with liquidity, and definitely we'll see interventions from the Central Bank of Nigeria. All right, now, definitely for the commodities market update, we have Dumebi Moluwole. She's a senior analyst, financial derivatives company, and she's going to be talking to us about what's playing out with the Naira and what's happening with supply. Yeah, Naira supply at this point. Good to have you, Dumebi. So definitely a lot is playing out right now when you look at the FX market. Then we also see money supply. That's also rising. Then another thing. I'm wondering how much the consumers can take at this point. We're seeing another rise there for PMS, and this is coming from the NNPCL.
Yeah.
How much can we take?
So that's a couple of things to unpack. So, but just starting off with the exchange rate, we do know that we've been having supply issues. In the month of October, we first saw like a steady increase in market supply, at least at the official window, where the Naira was trading relatively, cheaper compared to September. But towards, I think, October 24th, we did see a significant dip in the average daily turnover, and that significantly crashed the FX rate prices. And then moving on from there, and we're also seeing like a widening gap between the parallel market rates. We're also seeing a widening gap between the parallel market rates and that's also, creating like a wide premium, a spread between the FX rates and significantly impacting market sentiments across board. So that's pretty much what's happening with the FX market. We're seeing a lot of supply and demand issues affecting the market. So from on the demand side as well, we're also seeing that festive season demand is also, propping up some level of concerns as well with the market. So those are like the issues with the Naira in terms of supply and demand. Now looking at commodity prices, we're seeing like, I know you mentioned the money supply growth, so that's a significant, factor that is currently, pushing up Nigeria's inflationary pressures. And we do think that until we see a significant decline in until we see a significant decline in money supply growth, we think that inflationary pressures will still be very pertinent across the economy. So, and one pointer to this is the fact that one pertinent factor to this issue is the fact that we have seen, the CBN definitely try to tighten market liquidity, interbank market liquidity to somewhat reduce money supply growth, because we do think that that's one of the factors that's currently nudging inflation in Nigeria. We're also seeing an increase in money supply from FAC.
At this point, we've seen tightening measures from the central bank, but I don't know why we're not seeing that impact. When we see the data.
In terms of money supply.
Why is it not coming down?
So I would say it's a couple of factors. So we do know that number one, there's an increase in cash circulation at the moment. When you look at what happened, I would say, I think it was toward the end of 2023, thereabout, or 2022, when we had both the old Naira notes and new Naira notes together in circulation. At that point, we did see like a huge jump in cash in circulation, and that definitely contributed to money supply. So that hasn't been mopped up from the economy completely yet. So that's one of the factors contributing to it. Then you also consider that FAC disbursements as well have been increasing, especially because, now when you convert the dollars to Naira, the FAC disbursements are higher. That as well is contributing to money supply growth in the country in Naira terms, obviously. And then you also look at the fact that we're seeing a lot of spending across board, and there's also like a huge chunk of liquidity within the interbank market as well, contributing to this money supply growth that is somewhat nudging inflation. But primarily, when we always talk about Nigeria's inflation, we always tend to go back to the structural issues, simply because money supply is just one of the many factors. And when you even dissect Nigeria's inflation, you would realize that the impact, the coefficient of money supply that's impacting inflation is pretty slim when you consider other factors like insecurity, low agricultural sector productivity, low storage facilities, and the exchange rate as well. So money supply nudging inflation in Nigeria is pretty much just a lower tier, right? But then within the purview of the central banking system, it is something that they have to address, and that's why it's a pertinent issue. So
much to unpack there, and definitely for the last meeting of 2024, we'll see what the CBN has in store. Thank you so much, Dumebi Oluwole. Always great having your perspective on
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, we're going to be looking at the consumer goods sector. We'll drill down on what's playing out there. That's in a moment. Just stay with us.